morning. Today, I'm going to talk about Ford customer-specific requirements. First, let's imagine for a second that you stopped on the way here and you ordered breakfast, a cup of coffee, and oatmeal with blueberries and nuts. They give you this nice big bag and your coffee separate, coffee in the cup holder, put the bag on the seat, you get to the shop, grab the bag, go to your office. This is what you got. Oatmeal, blueberries, and nuts. Did they meet your requirements? Of course they did. Did they meet your specific requirements? The requirement that you really expected it to be cooked, the blueberries in the oatmeal and the nuts in the oatmeal? No, not really. So if you think about Ford Motor Company, Fiat Chrysler, General Motors, BMW, most of the major manufacturers, they have suppliers, thousands of suppliers all over the world, which means they have suppliers that speak different languages and have different cultures and thus have their own unique standards amongst themselves. So in order to have all their suppliers, in this case Ford suppliers, work to one standard, they've come up with customer-specific requirements. Now, these requirements for Ford were updated in November, and there's a few updates that are really important to you guys. One being FEMA's. Ford requires you to use their template for FEMA's, and if you don't use their template, you at least have to use the IATF template. Why do they want you to use their template? If you think again about having thousands of suppliers with Excel, you're going to have 1,000 different templates. This way, Ford specifies the template they want. All the FEMA's they get are in the same format. They know how to read them. They know what to look for and what they need. The other thing that was updated was vendor-initiated process change PPAP requirements. So PPAP, the production process approval, is required if we, one, make a product change or they make a product change, and two, if we make a process change. So if you think about the way we do the Ford Mustang bumper, we stamp it, laser it, and then drill a hole before it goes to assembly. If we decided that we would laser it, stamp it, drill a hole, and then take it to assembly, we need to prove to Ford Motor that that change in process is stable and does in fact yield them a good part consistently. So to prove that, we have to follow the PPAP. Again, the production process approval, production part approval process. They did also update their specific PPAP requirements in November that are currently in effect. I'm not going to go into any great detail on these. If you get to the point where we need to PPAP something for a process change, new program, or product change, the best thing to do is go to the IATF website or just put in Google Ford PPAP and it'll come up. Going back to the Ford customer specific updates that went into effect in November, the last one that's really important and to me is it should just be common courtesy. If we ship a product that is suspect and we know about it, we need to notify them in 24 hours. Actually, within 24 hours. Think about it this way. If you have a teenager and they take your car out and they get a big dent in the passenger side door, would you rather have them come and tell you when they got home? Or would you rather have them not say anything and then you find it 3 or 4 found it 3 or 4 days later, you would probably be maybe a little upset. Now think about the fact that if we shipped them parts that were suspect and we knew about it, we crossed our fingers that they wouldn't find it, and they find it 3, 4, 5 days later, a week later, a month later. Think how impressed they're going to be. So call them, get in front of it. There were some other changes, some administrative changes that they made to the customer specifics. They took out some wording, changed some wording, took out an obsolete spreadsheet for, I believe it was SBC data. Really, those other changes are relatively insignificant for your day-to-day work. Dave, all the quality managers will need to take a look at the specifics on the SBC front. But other than that, those are really the big things. Now, I did send you a test, sent you 2 things. One's a summary of the changes. Take a look at that, and then there's a little quiz that goes with it. Fill it in, answer the questions correctly. It is an open book test. Keep that document for reference if you wish. Get a copy into Nikki so that she can put it in your training file, and that we have evidence that we did in fact do some training on Ford customer specifics. Now, if anything else comes up from Chrysler or General Motors, but currently we don't have any GM production programs, I'll update those. I'll do a little training video again if you guys like this. If you thought this was absolute waste of your time, delete it. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But hopefully it did help, and hopefully it was a little bit less boring than sitting in a conference room looking at a PowerPoint and have somebody droning on about number 8.2.3.1.1.2. Well, at least I hope it was a little bit more interesting than that. Oh, if you're wondering where I'm at, I'm in my barn, also known as the gym. Yeah, this is where I spend a lot of my time now. Hope your day's good. Take the test, fill it out, get it to Nikki, and everything will be good. Cheers.